Hello, economics students. This is Mr. Clarke with another video. This one diving into the first learning standard for Unit 2, Learning Standard 1. And Unit 2 looks at different types of investment options, mainly personal finance. And to start that conversation about personal finance and investment options, it's important to understand where money gets its value from, the different types of money that is out there today or previously in our economy, and how money functions. Meaning, like if you were to look at what money is used for, we're going to talk about that. We'll also talk about if you were to start your own hypothetical economy, you would have to have some type of currency or money that could be used to exchange goods and services. And so in order to create money, money has to meet certain criteria. So we're going to talk today about what that criteria is, how money is used, and then the different types of money that exists today or has existed in the past. So that's Learning Standard 1. So let's dive into it. In the notes, we're going to go from slides 11 to about 20 or so. And what I would say here is, as I go through the learning standards, there's the goals for Learning Standard 1. Now notice for this slide, and this slide, I only have the terms themselves listed there. I do not have the definitions. So what I would do is I would just pause the video and write down the terms and then listen to my discussion about the definitions. Write them down in your own words, pause the video if you need to, and let's get into it, okay? So at this point, you should have written down the 3 uses of money. The only definition I gave is for the last one. But if you're wondering ways in which money serves a purpose, it serves 3 purposes, all right, in our economy. The first purpose is what's known as a medium of exchange. So when you take a $5 bill and you go and you buy lunch with it at, say, Wendy's, or you take $50 and you spend 30 of it on gasoline, and you buy yourself some clothes for $20, that's money serving as an exchange for goods and services. So anytime you use a debit card, you use currency, you use coins to purchase a good or a service, whether it's getting the oil changed on your car at Jiffy Lube, or buying a 6-pack of Coca-Cola at Jewel Osco, that's medium of exchange. That's one of the ways money is used, and it's one of the more common ways that money is used, not only in our economy, but in all economies, all right? Keep in mind, too, that when we talk about money, we're talking about currency, coins, debit cards, checking accounts. A lot of people think that credit cards are also a form of money, but they're really not. If you have a credit card yourself, that's technically not money. That's a loan. That's something you're buying goods and services on credit and then repaying it back later. So a credit card is not a form of money. So keep that in mind as well. All right, medium of exchange is done. Unit of account. So let's say that you guys have a car right now and you are interested in upgrading. You want to sell your current car and then buy a new one. Well, let's say that I approach you and say, hey, I want to buy your car. How much is your car? How much are you selling the car for? You're selling that car, you would say, in terms of dollars. You're using the car and measuring its value in terms of dollars. You're not measuring it in terms of bananas or barrels of oil, or saying I want 16 gold coins. No, when people sell something, using money as a way of accounting for its value. When you guys are hired at your job, how are you paid? You're paid usually per hour, and you're paid in money. You're not valuing it in terms of 10 pencils an hour. Okay, so money is used to account the value of something. And then lastly, I already gave you the definition there, but if you guys were to take a $5 bill and put it in your desk drawer, and then 2 years from now you take that $5 bill out, that $5 is still worth $5. It still buys $5 worth of goods and services. And sometimes people say, well, what about inflation? $5 isn't going to buy the same amount in 2 years. Technically true, but $5 is still worth $5 and will buy you whatever it is at the time. It'll buy you $5 worth of goods and services. So money holds its value, okay? Regardless of whether you keep that $5 bill in your drawer for a day or 2 years, it's still going to be worth the same amount, all right? So those are the three uses of money. Money holds value. It's used to measure the value of goods and services, and it's used to purchase, exchange goods and services. Okay, so make sure you know those three. We have what are known as 6 characteristics of money. So go ahead and pause the video, jot them down, and we'll talk about them, right? So the 6 characteristics money has to meet. So if you guys were to start your own country in the world, and obviously in order to encourage people to spend and purchase goods and services, you have to have a common mechanism, right? Something that can be commonly exchanged throughout your country, so people have a reliable way of buying goods and services and getting compensated for their goods and services. All right, so that is money, right? You from euros to Japanese yen to rupees to the American dollar. It's all forms of money. Okay, Bitcoin, form of money. It's got to be. It's got to meet some of these characteristics in order to be considered money. So let's get into them. Okay, so it's got to be durable. Durability. It's got to withstand the test of time. Okay, it doesn't have to be a brick, but our paper dollars are not only paper, but a mixture of cotton and linen, so that if you were just to pour water, expose it to sunlight, it wouldn't just shrivel up like a piece of paper would. It's meant to be a little more durable. Okay, so money's got to be durable. Divisible, meaning that it can be broken down. A $1 bill can be broken into 4 quarters, 10 dimes, 100 pennies. Okay, so it's got to be divisible. It has to be based in limited supply. All right, it's got to be can't be just widely dispersed throughout the economy, and you can't just keep pumping money into the economy because it'll inflate the value of it and it'll inflate prices. So money has to be kept in a limited supply. The U.S. government is in charge of releasing currency and coins, and they only do that every so often. They're not just pumping out money into the economy every day, because otherwise it would defeat the purpose. It would have no value then. Okay, so limited supply. It's got to be portable, right? If you were to, here's my wallet right here. You know, I can, I have no dollar bills in my wallet right now, but if I did, they would easily fit in here. Okay, it's got to be portable, easily carried around. That's why, you know, our dollars and coins, they're not the size of a large kitchen table. They're made so that they could fit in people's pockets and be carried around really easily. Portable. Uniform. They're all the same, right? You can't have, now there's different minute differences on a lot of these dollar bills and our $5 bills and coins and stuff like that to prevent it from being counterfeited, duplicated. But overall, if you held up $2 bills, they would look the same, right? It's widely the same, so that they're widely recognized everywhere, and it has to be uniform. And last one, it has to be accepted everywhere. Okay, meaning like if I were to walk into McDonald's, walk into Best Buy, purchase something on Amazon, what am I purchasing it with? I'm purchasing it with U.S. dollars. Okay, it has to be widely accepted by all vendors, all firms and businesses. Okay, so if you were to start your own set of currency or coins or dollars, it would have to meet these 6 criteria. If it doesn't, it's not considered money. All right, so keep that in mind as well. All right, where does it get its value from, though? These are, when it says value, this can also be describing what are known as types, okay? So when we talk about this, we're also talking about types of money, okay? So the first one is fiat money. And when we mention fiat money, when you think about the dollar bills that are in your purse or wallet, the coins that might be laying in your car somewhere, why is it worth what it says? Well, a $5 bill is worth a $5 bill. A dime is worth 10 cents because the government says so. It's not backed by anything else. Meaning like you can't take that dime or $5 bill and go and exchange it at a government office for a barrel of oil or a beaver pelt, you know, something like that. It's backed by the government. It says actually right on it, if you look on your money, it says endorsed or something like that, to that extent, endorsed by the U.S. government. So it's essentially saying the government is coming out and saying, all right, this is worth $1, this is worth $100, this is worth $50. All right, that's fiat money. It's backed by the government, nothing else. That's the most common type of money today. Now, this didn't always exist, though, because before fiat money, we had what was known as representative money. Okay, so if you look right up here, this is representative money, and it's hard to see on here, but before the 1960s, you could take a $100 bill and exchange it for a certain amount of gold at a U.S. bank, a U.S. depository. That's called representative money. It has value because it can be exchanged for something. You know, some things like certificates can be exchanged for certain commodities like oil or silver or gold. All right. That's not nearly as common as it used to be. Today, a lot of money is mainly fiat money, but representative money at one time represented value in terms of gold or silver, or oil, different minerals. Okay. That's representative money. We are now off the gold standard. I could talk about that at another point, but we have been off the gold standard since the 1960s. There's a couple political reasons as to why. If you're interested, ask me. But ever since we went off the gold standard, we now have fiat money. Okay. Lastly, commodity money. Okay, so commodity money, when we're talking about commodity money, we're talking about actual gold. We're talking about barrels of oil. We're talking about corn and soybeans and wheat. Commodities are those things. They get their value, and their value is measured in terms of supply and demand. It's measured by how much people are willing to pay for it and how much people are willing to sell it at. So when you talk about like commodities markets, we're talking oil and steel and lumber and different grains. Okay, gold, that's commodity money. Again, a much more common form of money hundreds of years ago. Today, that form of money has mainly been replaced by fiat money. All right. So up to this point, make sure you understand how money's used. 3 uses, right? You got to know medium of exchange, unit of account, store of value. You should know the characteristics that money needs to meet in order to be considered money, right? Those are listed on slide 14. And you should know the types of money or where money gets its value. It gets its money from either being a commodity form of money. It gets its value either from being a representative form of money. You can exchange it for a certain commodity, or it gets its value because the government says so, right? All right, let's do a quick review here. All right, so Sam buys a car that's valued at $8,000. This describes money's use. All right, so pause the video, think about this, think of how you would answer this. Pick one of the 3 uses that would meet the first sentence. Okay, so if put a text box in here. Okay, so Sam is buying a car that is valued at $8,000. So if we're talking about how the car is valued, like Sam goes up to the seller and says, "Hey, I'd like to buy the car. How much?" When the seller tells him $8,000, that's describing money's use as a unit of account. Okay. If we're talking about Sam actually exchanging the $8,000 between himself and the seller, then we'd be talking about money's use as a medium of exchange. So you can go a couple different ways here, depending on what part of the scenario you're reading. $5 bill is worth the same amount as it was 10 years ago. This describes money's use as what? Okay, pause the video, think about it. All right, so if you paused it and you've thought about it, hopefully you came up with this. Money's use as a store of value. It holds value over time. Okay, $5 is still worth $5. All right, it can be easily carried around. What characteristic? There were 6 of them. This is portability. Very portable, easy to carry around. Money keeps its value because it's kept in what? Supply. So if we got that one, hopefully you didn't put the opposite. It's not, you don't want to just pump money into the economy. That leads to inflation. We'll talk about that in a later unit. But if you're looking for real life examples, look at like Civil War Confederacy. Look at Germany in the 1930s, 1920s really. United States in the late 1960s. It's known as inflation, when the government is printing too much money, it drives up prices. Oil and wheat are examples of what type of money or money's use as a commodity. That's commodity money. All right. And I think that might be it. Yep. All right. So up to this point, hopefully You can do these things. You can understand the three uses of money. You can learn the characteristics of money or tell me about them, explain them to me, and be able to explain how money gets its value. That's learning standard 1. So if you're feeling good on this, go ahead and tackle that quiz that's in Canvas assignments and hit me up with any questions. All right, guys, have a good one.